연준이 금리 인상 행보를 이어가고 있습니다. 본격적인 금리 인상기에 접어들고 있는 국면인데요. 그 영향으로 세계 주식 시장의 타격이 적지 않습니다. 다만 이번 상반기 그래도 강세를 보여주고 있는 미국의 우량주가 있습니다. 바로 미국의 보험사 어슈어런트입니다. 오늘 특별히 어슈어런트의 비주 나이르 부회장께서 방한해 주셨는데요. 한국경제TV 글로벌콘텐츠부 특별기획 더 CEO에서 함께 만나보도록 하겠습니다. Thank you so much for being here today, Mr. Nair.
Thank you, Minji. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's really nice to meet you. So would you please say hello to our viewers?
Hello, everybody. My name is Biju Nair. I am responsible for the Global Connected Living business and Assurant International. I'm very excited to be here in Korea after about 10 years or so back here and looking forward to the conversation with Minji.
Thank you so much. Let's move on to the interview. I know Assurant is a well-known insurance company in the US, but there must be some Koreans who never heard of Assurant. So would you please tell us specific business you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are the leading business services company in the world that deals with advancement of connected world for the consumer. So as you can imagine, the world is getting very connected. All the devices are getting connected. People are dependent on these connected devices, starting with their smartphone, but also tablets, watches, connected consumer electronic devices, etc. So what we do in the connected living business is to ensure that these devices are protected, supported, repaired when needed, and making sure that when the device is end of life, we can make it available so that they can trade in that older device and purchase a newer device. So it's a full life cycle management of the devices. But beyond that, we have two other business units. The automotive business units, where we help support the extended life of that device. So when your warranty with a car is over, we are able to support the functioning of that car beyond that period. We also have a housing business, which is provides lender-placed insurance for people who are taking a loan out for homes to make sure that the house is protected. In the event that loan cannot be paid off, the insurance will step in and take and cover all of this activities. So it's a well-diversified business, especially for these challenging times that we live in.
And Assurant's main target market is definitely insurance, right?
Yes, we are a B2B2C company. So we serve the consumer, but usually working directly with a carrier, a retailer, an OEM, or an insurance partner. So we work with 21 of the top 50 global brands in the world. If you think about it, we do business with Samsung, we do business with Apple, we work with the large mobile operators like Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile in the United States. We work closely with many of the Japanese operators, European operators like Vodafone and others, but it's always going through a technology-based insurance, protection, and device lifecycle management solution.
Okay, technically devices.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to know the current situation of the insurance market in the US. What is your perspective of this market in the future in terms of growth?
Yeah, so we have a very unique perspective on it because we have such a well-diversified business across connected living, across automotive, and across housing. So we are able to see what is happening in the market as recession or COVID or other challenges come into play. Because of the diversification of the business, we are able to see that when one of the businesses is going down, other parts of the businesses are picking up. Take connected living as an example. Even when there is recession or when there was COVID and people were staying at home, mobile device is very important for people. So they want to make sure that those devices are always available. And now you cannot do anything, right? You can go to a restaurant and eat because you need a smartphone to this thing. For healthcare, you need smartphone devices and everything else. So that devices become extremely important. But beyond protecting the device, what do carriers and retailers want to do? For example, in the Korean market, 5G penetration is less than 30%, but the government wants it to be more than 90%. How do we get consumers to upgrade to 5G devices? Devices are very expensive. They cost about $1,000. So trade-in is a huge mechanism to do that. So what happens is when I have an old device, I have it for 3 years, I want to upgrade to the latest Samsung Galaxy S22, I can trade in my Samsung Galaxy S18 or S20 and I get money back for it. We make sure that that happens, a reasonable value. That way you get to buy the device sort of at a discount because of the trade-in of the old device. Almost like cars. When you're buying a new car, you're trading in your old car and you're buying a new car. Same thing with mobile phone. And then once you buy the mobile phone, we protect it. We make sure that there is insurance available for it. If you drop it, you damage it, we can fix it for you, or we can replace it if it's not fixable. So lots of different coverage around what we tend to do. So we get that view in the US and the global market. And we see that because of the services that we provide for the consumer through the businesses that we work closely with, we see the future to be very bright in what we do.
Last year, the earning performance of Assurant was good, and the stock price reflected that. But the first quarter earnings of this year showed a slight slowdown in growth.
Yeah.
So what is your forecast in the second quarter? Would it be recovered?
Yeah, so we are a listed company in US and we provide quarterly earnings reports. So I won't get into what the second quarter will bring forward. We'll be announcing around August timeframe is when we announce our earnings. The first quarter overall, our business was almost flat compared to last year. The global connected business really did well. So especially the mobile part of our business grew roughly about 13% compared to last year, but our housing business had a little bit of a decline, primarily because of the economic factors and what's going on in the market in that area. But that's the advantage that we have, because one of the businesses always picks up in a tougher economic world compared to other business. Overall, we are pretty excited about the growth of mobile. If you look at the US market or even the global market, mobile has become extremely important. So the carriers, retailers are competing with each other in order to get their latest and greatest products and services out to the consumers. So we are excited about the future.
Okay. And this is about the Fed's policy. And Fed decided the rate increase again this month. And according to Powell, there will be more hikes later this year. So how would this surging rate affect Assurant's earnings?
Yeah, so typically the rate increase does not have a direct impact on our business, right? But however, we have as every insurance company does, we have an investment portfolio. Yeah. So generally when interest rate goes up, that actually is favorable for us. So that's why we are a counter-cyclical business, because if interest rates happens to be low, consumer spending will be high, then people buy more phones, people buy more cars, and people buy more homes. So as a result, our business grows. When interest rates are high, people may be buying less devices, although with mobile phones, we have not seen that. Consumers are still buying mobile devices. But what we see is our investment income continues to grow. So any offset that happens as a result of recession or other things is somewhat made up by what happens with the interest income.
Okay. Everybody knows Fed is really focusing on reducing the inflationary pressure, including housing prices. So they are also considering the sales of MBS or other ways to control it. With this price reducing policy, some experts are projecting that a decline in housing prices. So if the price really went down, would it affect your earnings?
No, it would not, because our housing business is not directly tied to the real estate price per se. We place millions of loans that we monitor on a daily basis. When consumer takes out a loan to buy the house, we are monitoring that the loans are being repaid. And what happens is a lot of times the lenders who loan the money to the consumer, they demand that that be protected through an insurance. So we come in and provide the protection associated with the loan. If the consumer stops paying the loan or stops insuring it, we will step in and insure that loan, and then we will collect the premiums associated with all of those things happening. So we don't have a direct impact related to that, although if consumers are not buying homes, they're not taking out loans, so that can have an impact. But we are seeing that real estate markets continue to develop, right? So people, right now, the real estate market is extremely high. And obviously with Fed taking the control, some of that will be limited, but we don't anticipate any serious impact to our business.
And let's talk about the overseas expansion. Okay, would you tell us the status of your overseas market?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. This is, as you know, I have responsibility for connected living as well as our international business. So we operate in 21 countries today. And it's a mixture of variety of our business dominated by our global connected living business. So the mobile business, the extended services contracts business, those are all operating in all the different parts of the world. We are divided into multiple regions. So US, which is our largest region, Japan, which is another region, and then the rest is international. Underneath international, we have Asia Pacific, that we manage all the countries in Asia Pacific except Japan. And then we have Europe, which is headquartered in UK. So between, and of course Latin America, which is another big region that we continue to manage. So we are seeing different levels of growth in different parts of the world, and with the brands that we work with across all the different major brands, I think 18 of the top telecommunication operators, telecommunication players are our customers. So the global expansion is a big part of our growth. And we continue to invest in it. In fact, my colleagues who run Asia Pacific and International are here with me because Korea is a very important market. And we see big growth opportunities here. As I talked about the 5G expansion happening, I also read a report that said that home and protection of home electronic devices is a big aspect of what consumers are looking to do here as well. So we are having good discussions with many clients here and looking forward to our expansion here as well.
It's observed that many global insurers would be hit by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So is there any impact on insurance performance?
Yeah, first of all, our hearts go out to the people in Ukraine. There is so much human tragedy that is happening out there. And we are doing, as a company, we are doing what we can to help support the humanitarian tragedy that is happening in Ukraine. But we were very fortunate that our business did not have any impact because we have no business in Russia or in Ukraine. So as a result, we did not see a big impact. And where we were seeing some of the clients having an impact as a result of that, we are stepping with providing them with the technology capabilities to make sure that their businesses are continuing to run. So we are extremely fortunate. Assurant is very diligent when we are entering a market to see what are the risks associated with entering the market. Is this going to be good for our shareholders? Can we serve that country well? And then we make a decision. So far we have not made an investment in Russia or Ukraine. So that turned out to be a good decision for us.
So do you have any strategies or plans to restore Korean market share?
Yeah. So Korea is an extremely important market for us, and we are having a lot of discussions with our colleagues and meeting with clients this week while we are all here in Korea. Tremendous opportunities. Let me start with the connected living business. As I mentioned earlier, the 5G penetration is less than 30%, 29% or so right now, and big opportunity. 5G is Korea is one of the most advanced markets for 5G. And consumers like using fast networks, low latency networks, etc. The way to increase that adoption is by starting to give consumers an incentive. You have an old device, you can trade in your old device, and you can upgrade to the latest 5G devices. So we'll work with the major mobile operators here in the market as well as the OEMs. As I mentioned, we are a B2B2C company. And since mobile operators are the ones who sell most of the devices, giving them the opportunity and the incentive to be able to let consumers trade in their devices and upgrade. That's a massive opportunity. When you put money in the consumer's pocket, they usually spend it in the store. So they buy a better phone. They buy accessories like Samsung pods. They buy chargers and other things like that, which actually is very beneficial to retailers and the carriers as well. Device protection is very important because I can't survive for 1 hour without my device. I'm feeling nervous when I handed my device over to Christine that I'm not having the device, and most consumers are like that. We are seeing research that consumers would like to establish a fix for their device like right away, not wait for a device to come back. So in US, we have opened up operations where you can go to a store and get it repaired right away while you're waiting, or maybe within 1 hour, so that you don't miss a device for several days. These are all opportunities that we are seeing. In the automotive space, extended services and extended warranty for cars are very important. Cars are very important for consumers as well. And we are seeing opportunities to work closely with some of the dealers as well as the car manufacturers in order to do that. Housing, we are exploring. We don't have any specific plans around housing, but connected living and automotive are areas that we want to be very focused on, and the expansion in Korea.
Okay. Are you planning any M&As or looking at new business?
Yeah, so M&A is a big part of our growth strategy, right? So we are very good stewards of the shareholders' cash. We invest in, obviously share buyback, but M&A is a big part of that. I came to the company as a part of the expansion through M&A. Hyla Mobile was acquired in 2020. And we continue to look at opportunities that can add value to an existing business. Right? We rarely go out and do an M&A that is not very close to one of the 3 businesses that we end up managing. We have international M&A opportunities that we are looking at as well, and we'll continue to do that, but definitely a big part of the strategy.
Okay. Currently, actually, Assurant is receiving good evaluations from a number of Wall Street analysts. Why do you think Assurant is attracting attention on Wall Street?
I think a couple of different reasons. Ever since our IPO, we have been very good stewards of the shareholders' money. So as you know, we do provide dividends back, and the dividends have been consistent since our IPO process. So that's always attractive to Wall Street. The diversity of our business and how we are investing in technology to make everything that we do in all aspects of our business to be better. We are focused on digital first in many areas. Labor market being very, very tight all over the world, but particularly in the United States, we are investing in a lot of automation. And we are communicating that message to Wall Street. That combined with the performance that we have, and we continue to renew our contracts with our customers. The brands that we work with globally are very well known. So all of that is resonating well with our shareholder community and the investor community. And as you have seen, while the markets have been down, the Assurant stock has been performing really well. Even when you compare Assurant against multi-line insurance companies have been about negative 28% or so, while Assurant year over year has been up about 18 to 20%. So across the board, our performance is being viewed very favorably by Wall Street. So we are very fortunate and we hope to continue our performance that way.
So that's why the Assurant is a very attractive company, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, Assurant has been implementing, as you mentioned, shareholder-friendly policies, including steadily increasing dividends since 2009. So what level of dividends or treasury stock purchases are you planning to make this year?
Yeah, I think we have a stated policy related to the share buyback and dividends back to the shareholders as well. And we will remain consistent with the same policies that we have had since 2009. Obviously, all of this is subject to our board approval. And as long as the board is supportive of us doing that, we'll continue with those shareholder-friendly policies.
Okay, last question. Lastly, please say a word to Korean investors who are considering to invest in Assurant.
Yeah, obviously, I'm very excited to be here in Korea. I'm very excited about our global growth, not just in the United States, but international as well. And as a result, you're seeing the performance of the stock. We hope that can attract some of the Korean investors as a great investment strategy to what we do. The diversification of our business is the key, right? We have between global connected living, housing, and automotive, As I mentioned, it's a very counter-cyclical business. When there is good times in the economy standpoint, consumers spend money on buying devices. But when times are tough, they are dependent on their mobile devices. So they end up making sure that they are buying the greatest and the best devices. And our clients are always interested in making sure consumers are upgrading, and we support that revenue generation capabilities. And that's what makes us attractive to our customers. And as they say, if you take care of your employees and you take care of your customers, stock price takes care of itself. So that's the management philosophy that we have.
미국 시장이 좀처럼 쉽지 않은 장이 이어지고 있습니다. 그런 가운데 오늘 보험시장, 미국 보험시장과 미국의 우량 보험사죠. 어슈어런트에 대해서 함께 알아볼 수 있는 뜻깊은 시간이었는데요. 쉽지 않은 장에서도 투자 기회로 삼을 수 있는 투자 전략으로 어슈어런트도 고려해 보시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 오늘 더 CEO는 여기서 인사드리도록 하겠습니다. 시청해 주신 여러분 고맙습니다.